Alright, welcome back guys in this new video tutorial. In the previous video we were doing a package project thing and we reworked our disconnection system because it lacked something, and actually I broke our project completely. I think we weren't able to store when the host is. What I did in the previous video was basically saying when the host controller is being destroyed, it kicks every client. So when the host was loading the new level, when the host was level traveling, it was kicking all clients. And it was kind of what we don't want. We want to let him travel safely. So if you remember well, that was on our outgame player controller. On event end play, we were doing something that says, hey, kick the player, and we don't want to do that anymore. We want to do something like when you end play here. So I create a new variable, outgame controller traveling. That's a boolean that's not replicated and it's false by default. Let's create that boolean in our outgame controller. And I say when that controller ends play, I'm checking the authority, I'm checking if the player is traveling, and basically that says did he crash? If he crashed, that's true. And no, I mean if the player crash, if a player crashes, that's false. I mean, so that's basically a check. So is the player traveling? If he's not traveling, we're checking why. What's the reason of the end play? So basically, how did I spawn that? I get that node and I search for switch. It gave me switch on e end play reason. That gave me that. So you need to set it up like this. If the end play reason are destroyed, removed from world or quit, we are going to make the player leave. So that is an event we already created here. So make player leave. Make player leave. Yep, that's it. We already created it here. So I'm going to double click on that event. So I'm basically repairing our project here, and in the same time I'm adding some new rules that will handle the fact that the player is crashing or hard quitting or anything like this. So when I end play, I'm making the player leave. That says, hey, game instance leaves. So far we are all right, that nothing changed, except I added that. So when a player leaves, if that's a multiplayer game, we're going to drag our quitter and to say, hey, that player is now traveling equals true. That's what I did. I plugged that on the true of multiplayer. Then I did another thing. Before we had, is the player quitting the game host? If yes, we were doing a client leave session. Basically, we had that set up. And now I added a new custom event called kick everyone. Is the host leaves, that kicks everyone. So kicking everyone is basically doing that. And I need to pause that real quick. So sorry, we've been cut. So as I was saying, the player that leaves, we're saying is traveling. Then I created that event, kick everyone. So I'm going to double click that new event I created. And here I'm basically saying get every registered player. If that player is not the host, kick him from the server client leave session. So I'm destroying his session. And that is going to be all. And no. And that's little thing we've done here, telling the controller is traveling, we need to set that at other positions. So because we don't want the host to be kicking player when he travels the levels, as I said before. So when we are hosting a game, we want to create an advanced session, and on success we want to say, hey, the host is traveling because we are opening a level. At another time, when we are triggering the level traveling, basically when the player presses start game, we want to say that all the players in the array that we're in which we're removing the HUD. We want them to be traveling as well. And I believe we want traveling at another time. Yes. We want people to be traveling when we join a session. When we join a session, you want your player to be traveling because he's going to be teleported to a new map. So he's traveling. And you don't want him to destroy anything he managed to find. And on failure, we're disabling the throbber, and we're saying the player is no longer traveling because he failed to travel. And maybe the last time was when the first sets I made you, the first set we went on. So when the player leaves, and that is basically handling the disconnections, the disconnection problems. So I made a build of that. I'm going to close that project. I made a build of that, so I'm going to show you guys what it does. It basically allows the host to crash, and other players can still be hosting new parties and stuff like that. So that guy is going to create, that guy is going to join. So I'm going to join with him. And whoops, that one is going to crash. So what does that do? That destroyed my session, so I can host a new game and it doesn't fail like it failed before. So I created a new game. That one is going to rejoin that game. So I'm going to browse servers. I'm going to join that game. Here, joining the session. So we have two players. That guy is ready. That guy as well. We're going to start game. I didn't change their color. I should have to test if that works because I saw sometime it didn't work. And here we're going to be white, I suppose, since I didn't change the color. Yes. And if that guy crashes, since it was the server, that guy is easy going to be able to host a game. Oh no, he's not. Oh yeah, that was the other thing I had to make us do. Since we were on the game, I mean in-game, and the logic we built on our project was on the outgame, the logic that handles the crash thing was on the outgame controller. We will need to build the same kind of logic in our in-game controller and character. So let's open our outgame P controller and let's open up our in-game character. So for you, I believe it's third-person controller. For me, that's outgame P controller. I mean top-down character, sorry. So when that's being destroyed, or maybe not, maybe we need our in-game controller rather than the outgame. Yep, it's empty, but we want here to say, hey, events and play. So I opened up my in-game controller, so that's basically your third-person controller, I suppose. I open that up and we're going to build the same logic that we did in our out-game controller. So in-game, out-game. So when a player quits, we're going to copy-paste that. Here is that guy traveling. We're going to make that variable, create variable, and this is going to be controller traveling. It's going to be false by default. We're never going to be traveling in game, so we're going to switch on the reason why we're leaving the game. And if we're leaving the game because of any of these reasons, not any actually. Oh, we have no host here, we have nothing here. Yep, that's why the game instance is code is supposed to be a little bit better than that, in order to be a little with more modularity, in order to be able to handle both in-game and out-game controllers. Because now I can't make my host to be a host and stuff like that. So I won't do that. I won't do that for this series of tutorial. If the host quits while players are in game, other players won't be able to recreate game once they've been sent back to their main menu. But what you need to do to fix this is to build that logic, that bug logic, that anti-bug logic in your in-game controller. So basically this. And so I'm going to wrap that video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it was very more boring than other ones, but we needed to do that in order to have a proper lift system. So I'm going to wrap that video up and hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.